So for today's video, we're going to talk about some key strategies that can help you make more money in your agency or as a freelancer. Now, this is obviously a different type of video. We're in a different space here, but this is my trusty armchair, and I'm going to use this when I want to do more videos like this, where it's more podcast style, just longer form, just me talking to the camera. I've got some notes down there. You guys can't see them, but I'm just going to talk about some things that I think will help you transform your design payment business. So yeah, let's get into it. So the first point here is embracing the power of an irresistible offer. Now, I recently read the book $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozi. And in that book, he really drives down one of the key points, which is making offers so good to clients, to other businesses, whatever the case is, that they feel silly billies saying no. Now, in my case, if I run an agency or if I have a software company, that would look like this. So for the software company, for Tilebit, that would look like having a ridiculous amount of components for super cheap. Now that, for me, is an offer that makes sense to a lot of people. If I was an agency, it would look something like having a ton of different services, a ton of different value, and being relatively priced for that value. Now, that doesn't mean that you need to be cheap necessarily, but that does mean that when you are delivering that value, it should really make sense for the client to just say yes, right? Like the example that he gives in the book is if you had a phone and you want to sell that phone for maybe $1 million, how many people in the crowd would say, I want that phone for $1 million? And not a lot of people wanted that phone until he started saying what's in the phone. So what was in the phone was contacts and deals and information that would get people that bought that phone to over $1 million in revenue. So the point is that you need to sell something that just makes sense to the client to buy that offer. Now, in my case, as an agency, maybe we're gonna start packaging a lot of different deals. Like for example, we're gonna say, all right, you can hire us for design and development, and if you do it within the next 24 hours and you pay in full, we'll add in our SEO thing for our SEO service for an entire month, right? Whatever the case is. That, when it comes to bundling and giving discounts, works really well when closing down clients. Number 2 is gonna be shifting away from desperation in sales. Now, this is honestly impossible when you're just starting out and you want that first sale and your first $100 and, oh my God, I did a logo for $50. That's how I was, right? And now I'm at the point where I'm declining tens of thousands of dollars for projects. Recently, we declined a project for $15,000, and I'll put up the receipts here, just so you guys know I'm not biffing here. But the point is that when you don't feel like you need the sale, it does something incredibly powerful to the dynamic of the call. It goes from you needing the client to the client needing you. And when you position yourself as an expert and you have the power and the space and the energy to really say, you know what, they need me more than them. Yes, that $5,000 project or 10, whatever the case is for you, would be really juicy right now, but we need to step back and understand that maybe, it wouldn't be the best fit. If I did get this client, okay, I'd have more money, but would I be more stressed? Would I have less time for a family? Would I have less time for other projects, for other business proposals? There's so many different examples, right? And when you put yourself in that position where I don't necessarily need this project, I don't need it, if you don't need it, then it completely changes the dynamic. And I just want to preface that at number 2. Number 3 is that when you are on the calls with clients, now I do not like doing calls with clients. I do the first maybe 2 calls and then I pass it over to the team, and I'm not really in that process anymore. But that being said, is that when I'm on the calls, I focus more on educating over sales. What that means is on the call, I'm saying more like, instead of saying, yeah, guys, if you hire us right now, it's going to be great and we can really help you because we're the best team in the world and blah, blah. That doesn't work. What really works for us, for me personally, this is my opinion, and you guys can write down in the comments if you disagree, but what really helps with me is when you educate the client and you help them understand what they are thinking about buying and why they might be wrong to get one thing over another, or why they might be right to look at another agency. When you kind of act more as a friend, as an educator, that helps your client a lot more. And it also helps build a lot of trust. It helps build a lot of relationship with the client instead of just being like, yeah, we can sell you a website tomorrow. We can really be that website builder for you. You want to act as a friend, as a helper more than anything. Number 4 is going to be playing the long game with the clients. Now, this goes back to number 2, not acting desperate, but playing the long game with clients looks like this. I recently had a potential client come to me with a web app for a $30,000 project, or it was 30,000 plus, right? We can go up from there. But that project still hasn't come through. It still hasn't accepted, still hasn't hit the check, right? But what happens is that even though I know that I'm not getting the check tomorrow, and that's completely fine, I'm happy with being the guy that can help educate the client to maybe want to pay us later on in the future. So it's not necessarily about let's close it right now, today, go, 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 because when you have that excitement for it, although it is cool that you're closing these big projects, it reeks of desperation and it just feels like you're pushing the client way too much, and that tends to really push them away, right? So what works for me is I act as a friend, I act as a long-term partner, rather than just a short-term, kind of like an Upwork kind of guy, right? On Upwork, you get hired within the day to build a website, and then the next day it's done, it's gone, you never hear from the client again. I do not want that. I've been through Upwork, I want the opposite of that. I want to build a long relationship, and that comes with patience. If you don't have the patience for it, then look closer to the other way. Maybe you are a designer for an agency. Maybe you know, there's a ton of different things, but patience comes with longer term partnerships. Number 5 is going to be building offers that create value. I talked a little bit about this in point number 1, but when we bundle a lot of different services and we can create discounts for clients, it makes them feel like they're getting a huge deal. Now, the example I gave was, I think, design and development for 10 and then SEO for 5K, right? And then maybe instead of 10 and 5, we'll do it for 12, or we'll do it for 13, whatever the case is. And that has been working for us really well, because not only do we get to obviously sell more, but we can also create more referrals based on those other deals that we're creating. So now not only client A has worked with us for design and development, but they've also worked with us with SEO. And when they go and refer us to a similar priced friend or client or business partner, they now know that we also do these services, right? So it's not just about that one sale, it's about every potential sale that you might get from that client from here on after, and all the referrals. So being able to show your skills and your development in not just one world of maybe design development, but other worlds. Maybe you also partner up with photographers in the area and you can do some really cool headshots, or you partner with illustrators. Being able to showcase all those different skills later on, you can charge more and more always. So it's always a good idea to bundle many different services together. And if it comes to a point where it's too cheap for you to be able to actually do that project, then it's fine. Scale back the scope, make sure that you're still profitable, but always be able to provide so much value to them that they're saying, oh my God, I can do a project for 10K with these guys and their projects looks amazing and these reviews are amazing. And they're also gonna do SEO for us. That's a no-brainer. Let's give them the check tomorrow. That's what you want from the client. You want that immediate fire of a yes, like, wow, that's a great deal, let's go for it. Without that, if they're just lukewarm and you need to sell them on it, it's a harder thing to build, right? You need that strength with the value. That's what I'm trying to say here. Number 7 is gonna be, I think, maybe the most important one, which is building a business based on relationships, not transactions. In the short term, I have had cases where I maybe have lost a little bit of money, where maybe the client didn't deserve, maybe it wasn't in the contract that we needed to give them that revision, or maybe it wasn't in the contract that we shouldn't have gone that extra mile for them, but we did it anyways. But why did we do it anyways? Because when you build a good rapport with the client, that relationship can last for way longer. If you are very stingy with your relationships and you say, this isn't in the contract, this isn't in the contract, okay, if it's a massive thing, then yeah, refer back to the contract, maybe add a different contract, maybe you can talk about it. But if it's a case of, hey, I know that this is not within our contract, not within the agreement, but I was wondering if we could add this small section to our site and really improve this little section. If it's gonna look better for the client and they're gonna be happier about it, why wouldn't you do it, right? Why wouldn't you go that extra mile? Yes, it's a little bit of a pain for you, for the designer, for the manager, but the client is gonna be happier, is gonna be more likely to refer you to other people, it's gonna be more likely to build a better, longer lasting relationship. And you need to remember that if you're always raising your prices and you're always going above and beyond to improve your business, this is a relationship that can pay you tenfold just because you did that little revision that you weren't supposed to, or that, you know, maybe you didn't have to, but you did it anyways. So caring so much about clients is really what I'm seeing that is building my business and scaling it to the moon, right? Really paying attention to detail with the clients is what I'm seeing that is going above and beyond everyone else. So those are 6 or 7 individual tips that I think can improve your design financial business. If you guys have any questions, or if you guys enjoyed this type of content, or if you didn't, let me know down below. This is just a test anyways. So if you guys enjoyed it, if it gets a decent amount of views and support, then I'll keep doing it. If not, no harm done. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.